What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another video of the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. In this one, guys, we're gonna talk about some key dilemmas for Game Week 12. Hit like if you enjoyed today's video. You can also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. And with that, let's quickly start today's video. So we'll start with the first dilemma: how many players are enough for Game Week 12? Guys, as we all know by now, Game Week 12 is a blank game week for Arsenal and Man City. Now, many FPL managers have at least 4 to 5 players from Arsenal and Man City combined. Now, to top it up, if you also have players like James and Maddison, I think you will be in a fix for Game Week 12. Ideally, you would want an entire playing 11 for your FPL team for Game Week 12, guys, but the question is how many players are ideal for Game Week 12? Now, many managers, as I said, with the core of Arsenal and Man City, I think they will struggle to field a playing 11 this week. Now, because of this reason, guys, if you have anywhere between 8 to 10 starters, I think you should be fine for Game Week 12. You can also take a -4 or even a -8 to get to 11 players, guys, but do keep the slightly long-term picture in mind if you are taking multiple hits, guys. If you don't have the wildcard, guys, I think you'll be in a much better position if these hits are for the long-term options rather than just short-term one-week punts. I mentioned this last week as well, guys. Please do not stress about fielding the perfect 11 this week. Now, you might still have a bad score despite having an entire 11, so don't really stress about it. Do think through in terms of what your team needs and act accordingly. I think it's essential to be patient, guys, and get through this week, minimizing any loss to your overall rank, and let's move on. Next one is, should you use your wildcard now instead of Game Week 13? Now, guys, with some injuries and suspensions cropping up, along with the blank game week for Arsenal Man City in Game Week 12, now FPL managers are considering using their wildcard chip this week instead of Game Week 13, which is the most ideal scenario. As always, guys, this is a very team dependent call. If you have 6 players, let's say from Man City and Arsenal, along with James and Maddison, and also a few non-starters in your team, I think this is very, very important. There should be non-starters in your team. I think in that scenario, guys, I think it's worth wildcarding in Game Week 12 instead of 13. So the approach here will be to shift around players and build for the slightly long term. Now, wildcarding this week, it allows you to jump onto players from teams like Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, and even Crystal Palace. Now, these teams have decent fixtures, and there's 7 differential picks to kind of go for from these teams. Of course, on a wildcard, guys, you can at least get 3 players from Man City and Arsenal, and you start buying them on priority from Game Week 13 onwards when both teams have good fixtures. I'm sure not many managers have doubled or even tripled up on Liverpool players, guys, and using the wildcard chip this week, it also allows you to get in a Trent and a Salah and even an additional Liverpool attacker for the home game against West Ham. Now, you can even keep them ready for the excellent fixture run from Game Week 13 onwards, and you will be in a great position. Finally, guys, another crucial thing to consider is what is your team for Game Week 12. You see how you are lining up for Game Week 12 with your proposed set of transfers, and if you are happy with the number of players you are getting in this week, guys, and if you have a settled team, avoid using the wildcard chip this week. In this particular scenario, guys, a wildcard is better played in Game Week 13 when premium teams like Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man United, they all have great attacking fixtures. Now, the points potential definitely looks much higher in that window, and you can take advantage by delaying the wildcard for one more week. Personally, for me, guys, I have a good team for Game Week 12, and my planned moves this week, they at least cover the basics. So I'm saving my wildcard for Game Week 13. I think it's essential to look at your team, see what you're gaining and letting go, and accordingly take that call. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Who are the best Maddison replacements? Now, Maddison, he got his 5th yellow card of the season in the dying minutes of the last game against Crystal Palace in Game Week 11, guys, and that was very, very frustrating. It has led a lot of managers, a lot of FPL managers going into panic, and I think managers who own them, they are looking for replacements, considering that there are a lot of midfield options to kind of go for. I think out of all the available options, Trossard definitely stands out as a one-week punt, guys. He has been in great form for Brighton this season. He scored 5 goals in 9 appearances. Now, we know that he's an important figure in Brighton's attack, and he's looking good to start against Forest this week, guys. Now, there is confirmed news of Onana starting as well. That might mean that Trossard plays in a slightly deeper wing-back sort of a role. Of course, he can be attacking still, but that's the only worry with Trossard as a pick, guys. Otherwise, he's a great option. Now, if you already own Trossard, or if you, let's say, don't want to go for him, if you're looking for a slightly long-term option, guys, I think Wilfried Zaha from Palace is the next best replacement. Now, he has a tricky fixture this week against Wolves, a team that has struggled to score goals, but they also don't concede many, guys. We have to keep that in mind. Now, we saw that Zaha has the potential to do really well. He had a brace against Villa, guys, and he has the potential to score a lot of goals. So I think he's a great option. We know that he's the leading man in his team's attack, and he's also on set pieces and penalties. Now the fixtures after Game Week 12, they read Everton away, Southampton home, West Ham away, and Nottingham Forest away, and they're decent fixtures, guys. He's a safe, non-premium option in my opinion. But then we come on to players who are in decent form at the moment, guys. There is Mount and Bowen, both are decent options in midfield. Mount is a slightly risky option as there is a slight chance of rotation, especially with how Potter has been playing this season so far, guys, at Chelsea. There is a high chance that Mount can get rotated, guys. Bowen, on the other hand, I think he's a lot safer. But again, the two of the following 3 games are against Liverpool and Man United, so that's not ideal. Both are, I think, long-term decent options if you want to replace Maddison, especially with no wildcard available. Of course, it's not relevant for this week, guys, but if you are looking at long-term replacements or long-term options and you're okay holding Maddison because maybe you can field a playing 11, then I think Foden and Saka, they are the best options to kind of replace Maddison with, guys. And among those two as well, guys, I would prefer Foden because he's playing for the best attack in the league. He's also in great goal-scoring form, and I think he's the best long-term replacement for Maddison if you are not replacing Maddison this week. Now let's move on to the next question, guys. The next dilemma, what to do with Arsenal and Man City players. Now I think to me it's a case of how your team is structured, guys. Suppose you are in a position to field anywhere between 9 to 10 players, maybe 8 to 10 players for the blank game week 12. I think you should be okay holding Arsenal and Man City players this week, guys. Now let's dive a bit deeper here. If you have a lot of value invested in players like a Haaland or a Martinelli, I think it makes sense to hold them for game week 12 and then keep them on the bench. Of course, you can obviously take them out, but you will immediately want them back, guys, and I don't think it's worth making these transfers. Now, I think it's absolutely okay if you are selling KDB, as you can easily jump onto a Salah this week and then maybe go to a Foden with that additional KDB money. Foden definitely looks like the better option out of him and KDB at the moment, guys. He's in great goal scoring form. There are other options as well. I mean, you have Arsenal defender Gabriel and Gabriel Jesus as well. You can easily sell them. I'm pretty sure you won't have a lot of money tied up in them, guys. I think there are a lot of suitable replacements available, so you can easily transfer them out and get other players in. Now things become a lot more trickier, guys, when you talk about Cancelo, Saka and Foden. Now it does depend on whether you have the wild card available or not, guys. If you do, then take them out and go for 1 week punts. If not, guys, see whether you can bench them and still field a satisfying playing 11, something that you are comfortable with. I think that's very important, and that should help you in deciding whether you should hold them or sell them in game week 12. I believe there's no clear right or wrong answer here, guys. I've seen many managers ditch Martinelli and Haaland and then go for high upside picks, which is absolutely fine as well. Now it essentially depends on 2 factors here, guys. How many players are you okay having for game week 12 and whether you have the wild card available or not. As I mentioned before as well, there's no single way of playing FPL, guys, and it totally depends on what approach you want to take. If you are comfortable fielding 9 to 10 players for game week 12, then Arsenal and Man City players, they can be kept this week, guys. Suppose you already have 6 combined players from both teams, guys. I'm talking about Arsenal and Man City here, and a few other non-starters. In that case, guys, I think other players with the game week 12 fixture may be better suited for your FPL team. Now moving on to the last dilemma for this video, guys, is it better to use the free hit now rather than later in the season? Now many managers who have already used their wildcard and they may only be having 6 to 7 players starting this week, they are considering using the free hit chip as well, guys. I believe using the free hit chip is better later in the season when we have more information on confirmed, blank and double game weeks, guys. I don't think so this week has any standout fixtures. Now managers eyeing Liverpool options, they can easily get them with regular transfers, maybe even a hit. I think that should be okay. That will also help them with their team still game week 16 when we break for the World Cup. So I think you can easily manage Liverpool options with a hit at max. Then the Premier League top 2 teams, we know that they're not playing this week. Arsenal and Man City, they have a blank, and the upside elsewhere is limited. So I think the only situation where a free hit is justifiable is when you only have, let's say, about 3 or 4 players, maybe 5 players, and multiple hits also won't help you reach around 9 to 10 players. I think that should be the ideal window. I mean, if you have somewhere between 8 to 10 players, I think that should be fine, and you should probably not use your free hit chip. I think it's better to save the free hit for a later stage. But again, as I said earlier as well, there's no one way of playing FPL. If you personally feel that a free hit is better, maybe your team is in a really bad shape, I think if you feel that a free hit maybe will give you the right advantage that you're looking for, then absolutely go for it. But I think in most scenarios, I will try to avoid the free hit and just try to get the best possible teams with maybe a hit or even 2 hits at max. So guys, that'll be all from my side for this video. I hope this last minute tips video covering all the key dilemmas, it really helped you in making key decisions in terms of your transfers for Game Week 12, guys. We will be back in a couple of hours for the deadline stream, so do join us for that. If you have any last minute queries, last minute questions, we'll obviously try to help you out. Of course, it's gonna be a lot of chaos because there's so much happening this week, but I'm sure I'll be seeing you around there. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you have a great game week, and I'll see you in Saners next time.